somewhat of a general legal eagle, will talk to us about what to do when you are perhaps in one of the most frightening situations of your life, literally before you may do something in your pants.
Yeah.
We are discussing what to do when you get arrested. Why this topic, Muhammad Al Jafar Rauf?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Assalamu alaikum to our listeners. Okay, why this topic today?
Yes.
It's currently sardine season. Wahab will know about this.
Absolutely. He's paying very close attention.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
With sardine season comes shed season.
Mm.
And if you've been paying attention to what's been happening down the south coast,
Yep.
which is why I'm dealing with this topic, there's a lot of fishermen out there, and some of them, unfortunately, are breaking the law.
Yep.
Now, there's this video that's gone viral of a confrontation that happened in the Amkumas area. I believe this incident would have happened on about Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, just this past weekend.
Where this person is arrested by members of the SAPS. So when I saw this video, I said, listen, let's educate listeners on some of your do's and don'ts if you are in this position of getting arrested for whatever reason.
Firstly, who can arrest you?
Now, you can be arrested by any peace officer as defined in the Criminal Procedure Act. Note the word I'm using. I'm not using the word police officer.
Yeah.
I'm using the word peace officer.
Peace officer. Okay.
Now, the Criminal Procedure Act has a very specific, or rather specific definitions of who constitutes a peace officer. Now, this includes, but is not limited to, members of the SAPS, members of the Metro Police, military police, and other law enforcement officers. So, for example, you have these health inspectors who come around employed by eThekwini municipality. You also have these building inspectors who come around who are employed by eThekwini municipality.
Right.
Some of them are appointed as peace officers in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act, because they've written certain tests, etc.
Yeah.
And they have an appointment card and an appointment number. And they are fully entitled to exercise the powers of a peace officer in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act. Now, when arresting you, they're required to properly identify themselves to you, that this is who I am, this is who I work for, this is why you're being placed under arrest. And if you do request it, you can ask them to produce the appointment card. The appointment card will have the photo on it. It'll say which agency they work for and what rank or whatever it is that they hold.
What can you be arrested for?
Now, you can be arrested for any offense that's committed in front of a peace officer. You could also be arrested on the strength of an arrest warrant. Now, this actually happens very, very often, that, you're driving down the road, turn left, and here's this guy from Metro Police pulling you over.
Right.
He checks your car, he checks your license, and your car is unlicensed, or perhaps one tire is plain, or there's something wrong with the car, and he issues you that A4 summons.
Yeah.
And you forget about it, you don't pay it.
Okay.
And it then becomes a warrant of arrest. So if you have a warrant of arrest out for you...
plain tire.
Yes.
Right.
If you haven't paid that
the fine,
the summons.
Yeah.
No. So you've got the fine, which is the small one.
Yeah.
And then you got the summons, which is the A4, the big A4 one.
Okay.
Which specifically has a court date on it. If you don't appear in court, or if you don't pay by that date, it becomes a warrant of arrest.
Sure.
So if there's a warrant of arrest out for you, you can be arrested on that. A couple other examples: you suspected of committing a Schedule 1 offense, in possession of suspected stolen property, if you willfully obstruct a peace officer in the execution of their duties. It's not really an extensive list, but there's quite a few things you can be arrested for. These are just some examples, that are common every day.
So before we go to what you should do how would I know, like sitting here now, how would I know if there's a warrant of arrest out for me because I didn't pay, a flat a fine or
okay? So if you're if you're in the Durban area, right, you're generally going to have warrants from one of two agencies. You're either going to have a warrant from the Durban Metro Police, which would be specifically because you haven't dealt with these summons.
Right.
Right. Now, if you want to deal with those, you head down to your local court, to the traffic section.
Right.
I know Durban Court has one. I know Chatsworth Court has one.
Mm.
The Zuma Court has one. Verulam Court has
They
one.
all should have one.
Pinetown Court has one. Go to your closest one, right? And go to the Metro Police office there. Tell them, listen, here's my driver's license. I need to know, do I have any outstanding warrants?
Yeah.
Right? And they will be able to tell you. Alternatively,
The risk
if-
over there.
if you are in possession of one of those A4 documents,
Yeah.
I believe on the back there's a query number you can phone and actually
Telephone.
query.
Yeah.
Give them your ID number and they'll tell you, listen, this is how much you've got outstanding.
That's less risky because in my mind, this is layman's thinking now, right? In my mind, if I'm already at the court in front of the cop and he knows I've got an arrest warrant, stops him from saying, come here.
So in practice, that's not actually what happens, believe it or not.
Is
because
it?
I've taken a few people who have had, in fact, I'm dealing with two of these later today,
Right.
where people have outstanding stuff and they want to get it sorted out.
Mm.
So we're actually going to go down, get the printouts,
Mhm.
and then deal with it from there.
There you go. So what should one do?
Oh, sorry. And the
Yeah.
other option would be a warrant via SAPS.
Okay.
But now SAPS obviously deals with your more, if SAPS has issued a warrant, then you're facing criminal charges,
Serious.
not traffic charges.
Yeah.
So probably SAPS would be able to advise you whether you have a warrant or not.
Mm.
I know you know what you're up to.
How's it?
You know the chances.
If you
of-
don't know you committed a serious crime, you need a psychologist,
pretty much.
right? You need some sleep therapy because you were sleepwalking one day. Anyway, what should you do when you're placed under arrest?
So the most important thing, do not resist.
Mm.
Right? If you resist, it's simply going to add more charges to your name. You're going to add charges of resisting arrest, assaulting a police officer, things of that nature. Go with them quietly, calmly, be cooperative, and this is going to increase your chances of getting station bail.
Mm.
Now, once you've been arrested, contact your attorney, ask him to come to the station to obtain bail for you. One thing you really need to know and you really need to be aware of is that it's pointless arguing the law with the policeman on the side of the road.
Yes.
Right? If you believe that this policeman is doing arresting you incorrectly or behaving inappropriately or whatever it is, there are steps that can be taken further down the line.
Mm.
For that moment in time, the best thing for you to do would be simply to cooperate. Okay, you can advise them, listen, I believe you're acting incorrectly for this, and this reasons, but don't become combative.
Mhm.
Because all it's going to do is make your life much, much more difficult. Because police have, once you've been arrested, they have 48 hours to bring you before court. So theoretically, you could get arrested.
On Friday.
I theoretically could get arrested on my way from here to court
Mhm.
because I'm going to
Right.
court from here. I would only need to appear in court on Thursday morning.
Yes.
So
But
theoretically, they could only charge me on Wednesday night
Yes.
and take me to court on
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, and they'd be acting completely within the bounds of the law.
Sure. So be a good boy and behave yourself.
What is the procedure once you get to the police station?
Now, once you get to the police station, you're going to be charged.
Mhm.
Your fingerprints are taken, your photos are taken, and these are processed through the national police system and uploaded. You issued with a copy of your constitutional rights in writing, and you are given the opportunity to do something called a warning statement. Now, a warning statement is essentially your version of events of whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not essential for you to give a warning statement. Your warning statement could simply be that I would want to speak in court.
Mhm.
You choosing to remain silent. You're going to speak in court. You're going to give a statement in court. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. The only issue with that is when this docket goes to court, and this happens every single morning. Dockets go to court from
Yeah.
all the relevant from every single police station. Before those matters are placed on the roll, it goes to something called the prosecutor pool.
Mhm.
So prosecutor pool reads every single docket,
Mhm.
and they make a determination. Okay, do we need to place this matter on the roll or not?
Yeah.
Under certain circumstances, if you have a warning statement over there and it gives them enough information, theoretically they could say, listen, we're not placing this matter on the roll and you're free to go.
Right.
But I would advise that if you are in such a position, you only give a warning statement if you're assisted by an attorney, alternatively, if you know the law really well. But ideally, only if you're assisted by your
By
attorney.
your attorney.
Because your attorney is going to know how to phrase a statement in a way that's not going to get you into deeper trouble.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. So how long does all of this take?
Now, really, the procedure and the processing depends on whether the police systems are online or not. Sometimes the police systems go offline for
Yeah.
hours on end, 12, 13 hours on end.
Mm.
So if you're there, things are quiet and the system is online, you could be processed and done in half an hour.
Right.
Sometimes you only get processed the next day. It really depends on whether the system is offline or not. And the very important question of bail.
Mm.
Bail can only be granted once you've been properly processed.
And then what happens if your bail can't be arranged?
Well, firstly, before even getting to that, there, you need to deal with the question of station bail.
Okay.
So what happens is your attorney approaches the policeman in the station and says, listen,
Yes.
this is who I am. Here's my identification.
Mhm.
This is who I represent. I believe they're in custody. They've been charged. I'd like to talk about bail. And bail can be discussed at that point. Now, if bail can't be arranged at the station level, your only option really would be to appear in court and get bail at court.
Right. Now, before we end this one here and talk about what's going to happen next week, let's go and see what our listeners have to say. What if you are not aware of a summons? Can they still arrest you?
It's very unlikely that you would not be aware of that summons, because one of the requirements for a valid summons is the summons would needed to have been issued on you personally.
Yeah.
So if you have a summons on your name,
Yeah.
you were stopped at the side of the road.
Yeah.
You signed for that document.
Yeah, but I thought I was just signing a normal fine.
You need to read what you're signing.
I was in a hurry. I needed to go to the bathroom.
Doesn't matter. Caveat subscriptor. Let the signer beware.
Right. Is that what that means in Latin?
That's what it means in Latin.
Akbar Yunus Ali says, Salamu alaikum. Hi. When is the OB in Pietermaritzburg happening? Akbar Yunus Ali, we do not have a single clue. You'll have to speak with the station manager about that. Salamu alaikum. Barbaric behavior of police officers. Fishermen were released without being prosecuted, and this is now stemming from the video you mentioned earlier.
I believe the matter was not placed on the roll.
Yeah.
But the matter not being placed on the roll doesn't necessarily mean that it's over. The prosecutors could merely have directed that further investigation be done. And the matter could be re-enrolled at a later stage.
So according to information that's coming through, the case was thrown out of court. The young men involved in the incident with SAPS at Mkumas Beach were arrested and detained to appear in the Scotborough courts yesterday on charges of common assault, defeating the ends of justice and disarming the police. The SAPS officers involved in the incident are reportedly from the King Shaka Airport precinct in the Durban North cluster, which is 3 clusters away from the south. The information given by the young man's father is extremely alarming. And according to him, at the time of his son's assault and arrest, there were no fish found in his possession. So if you're a fisherman, make sure your licensing is up to date. Make sure what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing. Catch the number that you're supposed to catch and go away. Don't be like some people who phone you for competitions all the time.
And these days, you can actually do your fishing license online.
Can you?
Yeah.
And print it where?
You print it at home or wherever it is. I mean, previously you could only do it at a post office.
Post office, yeah.
And that was assuming that they actually had the forms.
Also true story. All right. Tell us really quickly, if I've got more questions for you, how do I get in touch with you?
You can drop me an email. It's altAAF@RAOOFLAW.co.za. Give it to you again. altAAF@RAOOFLAW.co.za. And criminal law is something that people always find interesting. So next week and over the next couple of weeks, we're actually going to talk about what actually happens in court. we see these legal dramas on TV, things of that nature. Let's give you some insights as to what actually happens in real life in the court.
Does it really work the way Suits works?
Sometimes, not all the time.
Okay. All right. So we're looking forward to that conversation next week with Brother Muhammad Altaf Rauf. Stay tuned to this feature every Tuesday around about this time, where we get into all topics regarding the law. And of course, if you've got questions that you would like for Brother Altaf to investigate and do some research on and just expand on this show as well, you're most welcome to email him. He's given you his email address, and of course we can take that as direction from you as to the topics that we'll be discussing on the program as well. Excuse me, I came out of nowhere.
I promise it's not from me.
Hey,
I promise.
this is not Altaf. This is not the sick person that came back from being sick. And you heard? Did you hear that?
No.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, why do you have to stay across the room?
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
That's it for the show as well. AK, to answer your question with regard to when is Radio Al Insar or the Breakfast Rush coming up to Peter Madsburg to do an outside broadcast, your guess is as good as mine, brother. Your guess, honestly, is as good as mine. I know plans be made and thoughts and ideas and all of those things, but yeah, whatever happens thereafter is anybody's guess. Say bye-bye.